Sacred Sojourners, a space where we gather around the fire for storytelling.
This is a journey of spiritual awakening, learning to trust in the universe and aligning to our highest path.
It's through our voices from the perspective of the masculine and the feminine, which is the real life dance between us, where we are going to share stories about our journey, our triggers, our love, all as we walk with the universe, not against it.
Zan and I are two souls having our human experience who are walking through the fire together with our three dogs. And now we're inviting you in to witness. If you've been feeling the pull to awaken,
Then you can finally start to trust.
and then to align to your highest good.
Now, you're exactly where you're meant to be.
Hello, Sojourners. Welcome back to the Sacred Sojourner podcast. I am your co-host, Zan Kavanaugh.
And I'm your other co-host, Troy Hulkner.
And this is a podcast for the spiritually curious. We have campfire conversations, but today we're having air-conditioned side conversations in our trailer
Mm-hmm.
because it's so hot outside.
Yeah.
Welcome to Florida in the summer, you say. Boy, oh boy. Not only is it hot outside, but it's hot inside the body,
Inside the body. Yeah, that's another one, too.
inside the life of Zan and Troy.
Yeah,
It was hot.
it was hot.
And that's what you're going to hear with a very happy outcome, but a lot of twists and turns this week.
Yeah.
And so we are going to send prayers from our hearts to yours because if it was like that for us, we know it was like that for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, life doesn't test you what you say you believe. It tests what your nervous system actually knows. And so, what do you think we're going to talk about this week, Troy?
The certainty or the uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, however you want to look at it. You know, life just don't bring certainty to everything. And the only way that we can truly become at peace with that is to have certainty in ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Which is another word for
Trust.
trust.
Trust ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which I think many people battle with that, not trusting ourselves.
Mm. And do you think that not trusting yourself is something that you got from the church, from your upbringing? Where do you think that comes from?
My upbringing, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah. In other words, I was told I couldn't trust in myself.
Right.
I was told and taught, not just told, but I was taught that self-worth, I didn't have any self-worth because I was told I wouldn't never have any self-worth. I was taught that.
And so if
that's
you
what-
had no self-worth, you couldn't trust?
Yeah. How do you trust in yourself when you don't believe in yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't.
Right. And so coincidentally, what's also happening at the same time is this strawberry full moon in Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've talked a little bit about astrology and how we kind of don't know very much about it, but we do know that it comes into play. So the strawberry full moon in Capricorn, we looked it up because we wanted to know what it was about. And this full moon isn't asking, what do you want? It's asking, what are you still carrying that isn't yours?
Mm-hmm. What have we not released?
Well, and what is still our ancestral lineage?
Mm-hmm.
Like what belongs to them and what is ours. You know, there's a way that you can actually like check the energy. Like, does this belong to me or is this somebody else's? Have I taken it on? And am I operating? Is it in my operating system to take it on or can I let it go?
Right. As a child, I mean, when you pick that up, letting it go is almost in your mind subconsciously wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you carry that into adulthood. You know, does it serve? Think about it that way. Letting go, releasing what does it serve me, even though it did come from the lineage I came from.
Well, that's what we're going to unpack today is
Right.
really trying to figure out what did serve us and what didn't. And so I don't know about you guys listening, but this week was filled with so much uncertainty, but also like snafus, like also Murphy's Law. Also, like anything that could go wrong went wrong,
Mm,
like including that we totally recorded a dope ass podcast for you by the fire with video. And we were so excited. But then for whatever
After
reason,
the perfect test, it went bad.
yeah, like his microphone didn't work. So we're actually recording on some new microphones. So hopefully that you guys hear them and we love it and it's great. But that was the end of the week. So let's just start with the beginning of the week because I'm sure you're wondering where we are on our journey. So last week we showed up at Penny and Matt's,
Mm-hmm.
some friends of ours, and they have a beautiful farm and they have a hookup for us, and we celebrated the solstice, and it's been a wonderful week until the middle of the week.
Mm-hmm.
But what right when we got here, what happened? And the talk that you were supposed to have a buyer.
Had a buyer, and then it fell through.
Well, it didn't fall through. He just didn't call you.
Right.
And so what happened to your nervous system?
Jacked me up, got me on edge. It bothered me.
So it was a trigger.
Triggered me. Yeah.
Because
Because, I'm over it.
you
I'm
couldn't control the situation though.
right. I couldn't control it. It was out of my control.
And that made you,
Angry.
there we go.
Yeah.
So in that anger bled over into conversations that we had. And I was accused of certain things that had nothing to do with who I am or what I'm about. And I was projected. And so we had coming to Jesus, or we just realized like, this is not going to work this way. So we have to try something else. And so Troy agreed to 3 days of peace
Mm-hmm.
because I needed to know what 3 days of peace felt like in order to go on this journey, because we were supposed to leave. I still had faith that the truck was going to sell. I believed the truck was going to sell. I was not attached to the outcome. I was fine with it. I say, okay, give me 3 days of peace and I will go on the journey with you. So day one,
Yeah. Day one.
we're doing good. I'm happy with it. My nervous system is calming down. And it was kind of like this container that was a large, safe container
Mm-hmm.
that I was allowed to be in. I was allowed to be myself without any restriction, without any contraction.
Right.
And I would think that was Tuesday. And so everything was great. We were like, all right, this is good. So we have
Pickup
the
truck.
semi that Troy is selling, and then he has his pickup truck, and he's been getting it tested.
Yeah, I had a diagnostic run on it because I couldn't figure something out, and come to find out, I had an ejector stuck and it burned a hole in my piston, meaning the motor shot.
The motor shot.
Motor is shot.
So he comes home and tells me the motor is shot, and we now need to pay $7,000 to get a new motor.
Hmm.
And that was uncertainty,
Yeah.
and I had a moment where I was like, okay, you want to get mad,
Yeah, you want to.
but what are you going to do? Who are you going to get mad at?
Well, I don't know. That's what I did. Are you kidding me right now?
Well, it's kind of like life laughing at you.
And then my next thought went to this can't be happening. Then my next thought went to, okay, how can this get any better?
How can this get any better? Using the tools.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Using the tools. So we just say, all right, we got to wait for the truck to sell. Awesome. Now you're getting other offers.
Yeah.
Multiple,
Happens.
right? So now we're in day 2, and I'm actually kind of like curious how it's going to show up, because he has 3 days of peace. And so it wasn't me who did any triggering to you, it was the universe.
Mm-hmm.
It was all kinds of stuff going on with the universe.
I wanted to show me that you ain't just the only trigger.
Right. So then you had the session with Lori,
Yeah.
and that's our spiritual coach. And in that session, that was some deep, deep work, right? Because, and the night before, we had done a master class around how do you move through when you get triggered, right? What is the path to that? Because before your nervous system goes into like full on, how do you stop that? And the class had taught us to change your environment.
Change your environment.
Try to soften and get underneath it after
Mhm.
you've changed your environment, and look at it. What is it? What is the curiosity? What is it that it's showing you about what's going on? And so you brought that question to Lori,
Yeah.
but what she told you changed so much for you.
Yeah. It really did. It really went to the root of my trust.
How so?
Well, because she showed me why I refused to trust. It went to the root of that trust.
What was the story?
You talking about with my parents?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In other words, having the lack of trust within anybody because of the fear of the abandonment. And she pointed out, she asked me about my childhood and some things in it. And the story is, I saw my mom tell my stepdad that she was leaving him, and I wasn't going to stay with her abusive stepdad. And mom was going to where I couldn't go with her. So basically, the story is that of the abandonment, and because of the abandonment, I refused to trust anymore.
But you watched your mom
I watched her.
tell your stepdad in front of you, so she
Mhm.
didn't even tell you.
Mm.
You
I
just
didn't know it was
observed
coming.
that.
I observed it.
So here's a woman that you loved,
Mm-hmm.
that you thought had your back, and that was going to take care of you, and she left you
Yeah.
high and dry.
Yep.
Basically figured you were enough of a man, you could go take care of yourself, which really ties into this conversation because what did she leave you with? You got to be the man. You got to take care of yourself. You got to be tough and you got to be strong,
Right.
like a boy named Sue,
Yep.
you know? And so hence, if you've been listening to this podcast, you know that a lot of Troy and our issues is he's afraid I'm going to leave him because I love you. I have nurtured and cared for you. I have supported you.
Mm-hmm.
And still,
Showing up for me.
all that time, you thought I was going to leave you.
Yeah.
And so that revelation happened. You were pretty shook up when you came back.
Yeah. I mean, Lori told me. She said, "It's no wonder you had the abandonment fear. You know the people you trusted and was supposed to trust, you couldn't trust. You know, and that just resonated with me. It made sense. It kind of opened my eyes to it.
hmm And then you were pretty raw. So what happens when you do big spiritual work is your world all around you shapes and shifts and changes. And if history repeats itself, every time we have a session with her, some kind of major thing happens. So we
Mm-hmm.
both kind of the night before say, all right, tomorrow let's be kind to each other because something's going to happen.
Right.
And so, but you got up in the morning and you said your affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
And can you share with us like one of your affirmations?
Yeah, one of them is the universe, word for word. It's the universe is there for me. In other words, my affirmations lean towards manifesting and believing that I can create my own reality. And one of my affirmations is that the universe does show up for me. And you
And
know,
didn't you have one about joy?
yeah, I got several.
And what was the one about joy? Because on that day, so this is like Thursday.
Yeah. Well, my affirmations, miracles happen every day in my life in many ways, many ways. And the universe is a safe place for me to receive more than I ever have before. Those are the two big ones right there.
And my affirmations to start the day is all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory.
Mm-hmm.
Because glory is the exuberant expression and abundance of life. And so I'll say that 10 times in the morning. But this morning, particularly, it was beautiful. You went to work, you were feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
We had a nice night. I had hope for us that everything was, yay, we're going to have our 3 days of peace. And I go over and I have coffee with my girlfriend, and we're hanging out on the porch, and it's so lovely and peaceful. The dogs are with us, and all three dogs. And so somebody came in through the gate, and our littlest dog, Kia, who's a dachshund,
The
beats to his
baby
own.
boy. He's the
Yeah,
baby.
he's the that's one name for him. So he bolts out of the fence, and then Gypsy, who is a black-mouthed cur and a hog dog. And so if you don't know what a hog dog is, a hog dog, she's designed, like she's bred to take hogs down. And we've seen her do it to other dogs. She won't fight the dog, but she'll take him by the neck and she'll just pin him. And that's it. She just like, she just has to get things under
And
control.
holds them. In
Yeah.
other words, there's no vicious to it. It's just
No.
once she's got them where she thinks they need to be, she just holds them there.
Yeah. Or she'll bite their ear just to hold them there, right? To get them down. So he goes into the goat pen with all the goats, and the goats are freaking out.
And he's got little man syndrome. No, or goats is 5 times bigger than him, but he thinks that he's
Yeah.
king of the roost, so he's gonna go in there and just show
Oh,
him how
yeah.
it's done.
And they've already tried to stomp him. Like,
Yeah.
they're already gonna, like, boot him with their heads and their horns. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. So Gypsy then sees this one baby goat decide to run away, and she goes after it. Oh my God. It was a scene. So now Gypsy's chasing this baby goat all around. My friend is up. She's on her 4-wheel drive going to get Gypsy, and the baby goat's trying to like get into any fence, trying to escape Gypsy.
Mhm.
My friend's like, oh my God, Gypsy's trying to like bite her neck. I'm like, no. And I had just told them the story about what Gypsy is, that this is how she is. She's not an attack dog. She's not a pit bull, which is interesting for me because my last 3 dogs were pit bulls. So I'm used to that demeanor, but she's not.
No.
I'm never worried that Gypsy's going to attack anything because she's super chill. But she's bred for it. She loves to run and chase. That's her thing. So everybody calms down, and my nervous system is
Right.
over the roof. I mean, it doesn't matter. Troy doesn't even need to be in the room. My nervous system is over the roof. It doesn't have anything to do with him at this point. My nervous system is worn down and it needs peace in order to consistently,
Recalibrate.
yeah, recalibrate. So my friend Penny and I decide, she says, hey, let's go sit in the pool. So she comes over and we sit in the pool. And because I'm on, this is day 2 or 3 of peace, I'm going to leave my phone in the trailer.
That was day 2.
Day 2. So, because now what's happening is I'm really getting back to who I am without trying to live the way that it works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I need to remember who I am, and I'm feeling really good at this point. I'm feeling really like safe and like this is great. Like I can be me, and you won't be mad at me for being me. Like it feels so beautiful to me. So I leave my phone in the trailer, and I'm like, this is a test. Now I've never left my phone in the trailer. I've never left my phone behind. So I always have my phone with me because somebody might call, somebody might text. I might need to be available for somebody. I just want people to call. I want people to call me and check in with me, see how I'm doing. I want to be needed and loved. So anyway, I always have my phone with me. But on this day, I did not.
No, you didn't. And I was at work, and it was fine. Everything's all good. I got to the job with my load of asphalt, and lo and behold, the airbag blew. Poof. And I started losing air pressure on my semi. In other words, your semi, if you can't keep your air pressure up, your brakes will lock. And sure enough, my brakes locked because I had a blown airbag because I have air rides. And I thought, well, it's no big deal. In other words, Zan's 15 minutes from me. I'll call her to come get me and take me to my pickup truck where all my tools, my airbags, everything's at. So I call her, and of course, no answer. So okay, I'll just text her and she'll call me right back whenever she's. So I texted her. Well, and then I sat there and waited on a phone call, and I tried to call her again, no answer. And 1:30 turned into 2:30, and I said, well, really didn't know what to do at this point. So I called her again, no answer. So then I said, well, I guess I'll start walking. And I start walking. And while I'm walking, got about 200 yards from my semi, and the rain started.
I hate this part of the story for you.
Okay, now I'm huffing and puffing, walking down the stinking road, and it's raining. Truck's broke down, and I got to get to my pickup. So I continued to start walking, and then 2:30 turned into 3:30, and then a mechanic picked me up, and he had what I needed to be able to just temporarily be able to get me to drive my semi. So we did that, and I drove it to the shop, and I don't know, I was on my way home, and it was probably close to 4:30 when you finally called, and she saw my text, and in one of my texts, I explained to her that I was broke down and I'm gonna start walking because I couldn't get a hold to her. Well, I think that sent her into, oh, he's fixing to be mad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And though I was frustrated with the situation, I wasn't mad. I mean,
Well, what
eh
came up for you though? I mean, I think that's what we want to understand is like, and where would you have been 2 months ago
well, 2
versus
months
then?
ago, I'd have been stinking fighting hot. I'd have been madder than a wet hen and blaming you because you couldn't come get me and you ain't got your phone on you and
Mm.
all of that. And then when she did call, she explained how her and Penny was in the pool. And I said, okay, that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with you and Penny being in the pool and y'all having a girls' day because, anybody needs a girls' day. You do. She needs a girls' day every night and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wasn't upset about that. And it really surprised myself. I know it surprised her that I wasn't angry, but we moved through that. I came home and
Yeah.
there was frustration on me because of the situation, but not because of her.
No, it was amazing, actually. I was quite surprised. I mean, I was sketched because I was like, oh boy, I feel the energy. I'm what we
Mm-hmm.
call an empath. So I feel energy, I feel the field, and I think I'm in a precautionary mode to
Mm-hmm.
make sure to not set you off. I know the triggers. And
One of the
so,
things about that though you've helped me with is you told me to read the room. And as I came in, I seen the uptightness you were in, worrying about my uptightness and how it's
hmm
going to come to you.
hmm
And that helped me soften. In other words, I don't want you uptight. I didn't want that.
well, he took care of that. We went to dinner.
Hmm?
We had a nice, big, fat, yummy meal, and we went and got a tank.
Yeah, that we needed.
So we're living in a trailer on our friend's property, and they have water and power, but they don't have sewage, but they do have a septic tank. And so if you're not familiar to RV life, obviously you got to empty the pooper. And so
Mhm.
we don't want to like hitch the truck up and go find a place to empty it because it's a 35-gallon tank. So we went and got a holding tank that's about 15 gallons. And so after this whole night, we come back and Troy is trying to get the remains into the holding tank, but the tube is like hitting the ground and then trying to go back up on the holding tank. So gravity is not working with him. And so he's like using it like a slinky, trying to get the poop into the holding tank. And it was just like so crazy as we're sitting there in the dark. It's so hot. The bugs are all around. And so finally he like, okay, there's a hill down there. So he adds an extra extension and he tries to get the poop to go into the holding tank. But then accidentally it like spilled open for a second. So a little bit ran out. And it was like, oh my God.
Yeah, she's over there freaking out, panicking, boy. She's panicking.
Oh, so gross. So disgusting. So then we put that, finally we get it in there, and then he takes it over to the septic tank, which now we're like in the dark trying to like unscrew the tops of the septic tank because our friend didn't actually know how much was in there. So we had to take a picture of it for her, and it was like pretty much full because it was like a holding tank under the ground. It wasn't like a generic septic tank. And so poo that's been there for like a year or some shit. So, like,
Yeah, there's some shit in it.
exactly. So then you're like, have this like rolling poo tank and pouring it into the septic tank in the middle, and it's just, oh my God, just smell the foul. It's so bad. So
I thought it smelled like shit myself.
so then we're trying to get it screwed back on in the dark, and he's trying to get the, well, what about this? So anyway, we had to share that story with you so you can feel our pain. So then,
Needless to say, through all of that, I didn't lose it.
no, you didn't.
Kept my peace.
You didn't. But then we were moving to day 3, which I was getting nervous now because here I was, had my days of peace, and I was like, oh boy, the universe is throwing the curveballs at him. I was like,
Yeah.
if he makes it through the 3 days of peace, I got to give it to him because that's amazing because it just kept on coming, kept on coming. So anyway, needless to say, we're not going to leave this weekend. You had to call your son and let him know that we're not going to be there. And now we have to, get your truck fixed. And now we got to sell your truck. But then you called me on Friday and you said that
Yeah, I got a buyer.
you got a buyer.
Yeah, a guy I run with who's running a truck, want to buy a truck for his wife. So he knows my truck and he likes my truck. And long story short, just in a few minutes, I've got a buyer. He's serious with the money. I mean,
Right. He has the money, doesn't have to borrow the money.
mm-hmm.
And Lori had said that actually in your talks with her. She had said you have a lot of people circling around you saying they're going to buy it, saying
Right.
they're waiting for the money. And I get it. It's frustrating. That's been,
Yeah.
I get how challenging that is. But from where I sit, you did have a lot of expectations all along with each buyer
Mm-hmm.
that was going to be your solution, that was going to solve your problem.
Yep.
And so, what would you say now in hindsight, looking back, that maybe you could have done differently that didn't give you like a nervous tick every time something fell through?
I don't know. What could I have done different? And what I could have done different was, okay, I'm going to treat it as unsold till I get a check in my hand. Just because I got somebody talking about buying it. Talk's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
The journey and what it means for me to go on this journey. And I really thought my truck selling would be way easier than it was.
Mm-hmm. But then Lori brought that up. What did she say to you about how your demeanor was about
Right.
selling the
In
truck?
other words, I got to the point where I'm over it. I'm done. I'm done with the truck driving. I'm done with the whole thing. I'm ready to sell my truck to be able to move on to my next career. And she told me that I wasn't working from joy. I was working from dread.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, that's the number one killer of frequency in anything you do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was killing the frequency of the truck selling, which made all the sense in the world to me. I loved truck driving until I realized that it was something that I wasn't supposed to do no more. And, there was just so much that plays into that. And I got to the point to where I was over it and I just want to move on. And, but you can't move on till you sell the truck.
Right. And you really wanted to move forward on the journey, but I feel like you were trying to force it to happen. There wasn't this allowance and
Right.
watch the energy like a wave. And that's
Mhm.
hard to do when it's you. It's easier for me to say sitting back,
Right.
but for me, it's I feel the frequency and I feel the energy. And sometimes you can have heart flutterings. They can be nervous energy, but they can also be excitement energy. You
Mhm.
don't necessarily know which one it is, but your job is to stay neutral,
Mhm.
right? My friend Angela had said something to me this week about staying neutral. She said that there was a Rumi quote about, I'll meet you between right and wrong in the middle.
Mhm.
There's a field in the middle, and I'll
Yeah, the
meet you.
neutrality.
Mhm.
Staying neutral, and I'm beginning to see that right and wrong and hanging our hat on both of those is kind of irrelevant.
Well, it comes from somebody's point of view.
Right, because it's perspective most of the times. I mean, there is some cut and dry areas of right's right, wrong's wrong, but a lot of it is perspective, and that's part of being true to yourself.
Hmm. I mean, when I do some healing work on people, I will ask, like, is that belong to you or does that belong to somebody else? And that really ties into this conversation about this strawberry moon, which is coming from our ancestral lineage. So, I'd really love to just read a little bit and then let's talk about it
Okay.
because what's happening right now is we're looking at our patterns and are they ours or do they belong to our families? There's this beautiful written explanation and we looked for a while to understand what this meant, but and I'll give you her website. Her name is Kai. And she says that we're at the midpoint of this year, right? So we're June 29th,
Hmm.
30th. And in so many ways, it's a climax and a holding the potential to turn deeply rooted conditioning around that have determined our lives or held us back up until now. So, over the past months, we've received more light than ever before, and the pace of our inner transformation of light body recreation is incomparable. No shit, Sherlock. Like, this is the fire horse year. Like,
Right.
this last 6 months, I'm surprised that we're all still standing, to
Mm.
be honest. But now, right before the moment, we may set off into new heights, which is totally appropriate because we're about to set off into new heights. We are called back to the roots to release any expectations, any blockages, and strings that may hold us back. What any expectations or blockages or strings do you think are still holding you back?
Just what we was talking about there, breaking generational curses.
Hmm.
No, in other words, me operating the way I do from the loop, a lot of what the way I operate is monkey see, monkey do, is
Hmm.
learned behavior
Right.
that came from my lineage. It didn't come from me,
Hmm.
but because it's what I grew up with and it's because of what I watched my whole childhood up until I was 16 years old, it's what I know.
Right.
And, breaking those loops and releasing those from being able to,
But what's a particular blockage? Can you
a,
name something?
a particular blockage would be my anger.
Hmm.
In other words, who did the exact thing I'm doing now?
Mm.
Vernon.
Ooh.
He gets a stinking. I mean, he'd lose his temper to the point to where he's tearing shit up. Something getting tore up.
Mhm, and then how did that make you feel?
Back then, it scared me.
Right,
Scared the shit out of me.
right.
I wanted to find a hole in the ground and stick my head in it
Mhm,
and hide. And I don't know. Coming to the understanding and the realization that I have picked that up from him and I've carried it into my life now. Carried it into my kids' life growing up. I'm kind of ashamed of it, really.
right, but so now we're being offered the opportunity to recreate and fine-tune the new structures on which we can build our lives going forward,
Mhm.
and it always starts from within.
Right?
And so our ancestral heritage moves into focus this week. So now I'm going to get a little astrology stuff. Cancer connects us to the maternal lineage, our emotion, our emotional inheritance, and our roots, which is one of the things that we're working on with Lori, right?
Yep.
She said the way that we're going to be able to create and manifest is by getting to the root of our own issues.
Right. And that's where my ancestral lineage is. That's the root of a lot of my problems. Breaking that generational curse.
Hmm. And Capricorn is with the paternal lineage, structures, authority, and the ways we learn to build our place in the world. So often we follow a certain path in life or keep ourselves small
Mhm.
because a part of us often unconsciously believes that staying in line will secure our belonging, our safety, or the love we desire. Boom.
Right.
I mean, it's so scary because you don't even like know it until you are able to look at it. And
Look, that's where the coach was so good with me. She's helping me to be able to look at it and see it.
what makes it so difficult and confusing is that deep family patterns usually don't reflect beliefs that we consciously agree with. They are old loyalty programs running underneath our conscious worldview.
Right.
Now, that actually is like, so that to me is, is the story of my narcissist mother, which I'm going to drop that story. I'm going to put it in the fire today because I use it as a story. I almost use it as a crutch for
Mhm.
why I am the way I am, but I'm going to say it. My mother did not show up to my brother's wedding because my brother and my sister-in-law didn't want alcohol at their wedding. And my mother couldn't have that because she was paying for it and she wanted it. So she boycotted the wedding and she prevented my grandmother and the rest of the family from honoring my brother and supporting my brother. And I went along with it because I was, part of the pack. My mom, she knows best, right? How many things did we do because our parents said do it? How many things did they do for us to us because they didn't get it done for themselves, so they wanted to do it to you, and then you just bought that belief system and now it is yours,
Right.
right? And that's what it is. I'm just giving it an example, but we don't reflect those. I didn't reflect that belief system. So I actually moved into my apartment the very day that my brother was getting married, and he was getting married less than a mile away from me. And to me, even at that age, and so I was probably, I think I was like 25, I said, no, I got to be there for my brother. Like, I don't,
Mhm.
he doesn't even need to know. I'll just duck in the back and witness it. And his friends were all super happy that I was there, and I didn't really realize at the time that how powerful that was, that somebody supported him, but how he was left there by his own mother from her own selfish ways,
Right.
right? So I have a lot of energy around that because I would never be like that. So, but then again, on my dad's deathbed, the last thing my father said to me was like, do what your mother says, take care of your mother. And that was always an issue for me because it was like, but she doesn't know what's best for me.
Right.
'Cause I'm a grown person right now, right? But we talked about with our friend Angela yesterday is like, where can we look at our own patterns and take ownership for them?
Where can we look at our own patterns and take ownership for them? Enlighten me.
Well, I'm going to tell the story that Angela said yesterday. So our friend Angela was talking to us about her mother, and she had her own points of view about her mother. And when her mother passed, she found her mother's journal and she
Mm.
learned certain things about how her mother was actually praying for her and wanting the best for her and hoping the best for her that she had no idea.
That there was that side of the coin for her. She didn't
Hmm.
realize that.
No.
And she went on to say how she understood that she was living from her past the way she remembered it, not the way it really was.
Hmm.
And, how often do we do that? Do
Well, a
we
lot because we're just all stuck in our own systems.
and I told her, "How cool was it that you had an avenue to be able to see a different side of the coin that most of us don't get through a journal your mother would write you?"
Yeah,
I don't have that with my mom.
I don't either.
In other words, there could be another side that I'll never see or know.
There probably is.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, your
and
mother
that's
at the time might have been felt trapped and she had to make choices and decisions. It was a different time back then,
right,
and she had
right.
3 kids
Survival mode
and if he was that abusive to you, he was that abusive to her,
at some, yeah, some point.
and maybe she at that point just was like, "You're old enough, you can figure it out." But she was so look at your mom had a rough life
Yeah, rough life. She was a tough lady. She had it rough
and she did the best that she could.
with what she had, and I do believe that, and that's one of the things Lori has helped me see, and I'm trying to integrate it and trying to embody it in my
Mhm.
life right now, is not living from my past, not allowing my past to be that crutch. And one of the things she showed me last week, she says, there's been a lot of people that grew up without a dad. Why are you special? Get to hang on. And that stung too. That shit hurt.
Well, I'm glad she said that.
No words. That's been kind of my excuse to be where I am.
Mhm.
But I got to take that excuse out, man up, and move forward on my own.
Well, do you have to man up?
Well, not so much man up, but at least admit it and look at it.
Right.
You know,
Everyone's got a story.
and it's when we look at it. That's what she showed me last week when I looked at that and I saw it. Even though it stung, there was truth to what she said. And in some kind of way, I don't understand the shift that I've made and being able to provide more peace and not reacting in such a way that is not beneficial to me and my house self, but also to us and our relationship. It's helped me to be able to. I don't know. I've been trying since last week to put my finger on the magical thing within our session, and no one thing was magical. It just all of it together.
Right, because you have more awareness
More awareness has come.
and you're taking action. You're doing the affirmations, you're doing the intention setting, you're trying to break the pattern,
Mhm.
right? The
Yep.
patterns that create
And
our lives. And so that's, as we're talking, it's just like, wow, like you listening, where is that pattern in you that you want to let go of? Like, where is the pattern that you're like, this, I've been doing it for so long that I've just said that that's just how I am. But
mm,
is it the best thing?
right. And that's an excuse we hang our hat on so often. Well, that's just the way I am.
My kids just have to
Okay.
deal with it.
When we
Or,
say that, at the moment we say that, we know we're wrong. We know it's not in our best interest to be that way.
well, how much more space in your consciousness could you have if you weren't that way?
Right.
Right? Not so much like that you're wrong, but how much better could your life be? So that's just something to chew on. And
Well, it frees you up. And when you're in freedom, you're able to vibrate at a higher frequency.
mhm.
And when you're doing that, you're able to, being free is when you're at peace. You can be at peace.
So even if our parents never asked such sacrifices from us, the patterns and the beliefs can form in early childhood, and they are often connected to the belief that we are not worthy of love unless we fulfill certain expectations.
Right.
The fear of leaving a child behind, the fear of disappointing them, the fear that choosing a different path means losing our belonging. Often these strings are based on feelings of obligation to create balance within the family. I'm just going to speak to this truth right now because as I just was reading this, and I hope this is like stinging somewhere in your reality, the fear that choosing a different path means losing our belonging. So in my childhood, I have definitely felt like I don't really care. I'll leave even though it hurts me. I have nowhere to go. I don't have any money. I don't have anything. But I wanted to be autonomous within myself and I didn't want to be subjected to the rules and the behaviors of others.
Yeah.
That is our relationship.
Yeah.
And I want to put that down because that's old. It's old pattern.
Mm-hmm.
You have represented a lot of my family in my energetic field. I witness and I react based on how it was with my family. So for this moon, I am going to burn that in the fire tonight. But there comes a point in life when ignoring our childhood conditioning is no longer an option unless we accept to betray our truths, and we can't do that,
Mm-mm.
to just keep on running against walls and ceilings. You can't betray your own truth,
No.
not once you're aware of it.
Right. And that's the very thing right there. Once you awaken and you start looking at yourself, that's the very thing that stops you from being able to go back right there.
Yeah.
You cannot go back. You cannot betray your truth.
Wha-
Because once you see it,
No, you can't.
you see the truth of it. And once you see the truth of it, how do you go back on that? You can't.
But do you think a lot of people do?
No, you can't go back on it. I think a lot of people refuse to look at it to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel.
Mm.
Therefore, if they don't look at it, they don't have to go back on it.
Well, that's true. And we're asking you to look at it
Yeah.
because the space that you will create.
Well, it's in looking at it that you're going to be able to release it and then have the freedom
Mhm.
from it.
And that's the healing.
And you cannot release it if it's not looked at. If you refuse to look.
Well, looky here. Look who is such a wise counsel.
Well, it's just the truth. As I'm learning it. I'm applying it. I've not mastered it, but I'm seeing it.
You are mastering it because it's like been 6 months.
And I mean, it's like Gabrielle said, it spoke to me that day when, it's okay to have those fears, those past traumas that you go back and, let them know you see them,
Yeah.
and that was the turning point in my life to really look at it and let it know, I see you. I see how you controlled me
Mm-hmm.
by throwing me into my fear and then me living from that fear.
Mm-hmm.
No more, Jack.
Yeah.
No more. I'm a bull. Mm-hmm.
You can say mother
Yeah, and that's just a saying we have.
bull mother puck. You could say that.
And Just meaning I'm gonna draw a line in the sand and refuse to still operate from that way. And I can tell huge gains just because I've been willing to look at it.
So she says that the first part of July is a time that supports us to dive in deep and to understand what we couldn't see before and to break free from the limitations and return to our own truth, our value beyond judgment and expectation. So Capricorn represents the masculine energy, the builder, the creator of structures. And Cancer represents the feminine energy, the nurturer, the keeper of emotional connection and belonging, our creative force. And Saturn challenges the vessel we have been holding up until this point and offers us the opportunity to recreate it. So recreate a vessel built on your own values, on your own worth. And so that's what's this right now, this moon, this almost July. What's that vessel like? Free from karmic obligations, you and I also, free from inherited limitations, free from,
Right.
how did your father expect you to be? How did your mother expect you to be, right? Where are you living from that? Free from unconscious patterns that no longer belong to us.
Right.
Manifestation can only truly flow through inner balance of masculine and feminine energy anchored in our own core. What does that mean to you?
That means to me being in the traumas that I have, being a level-headed person enough to deal with them the right way. And sometimes it takes masculine energy, sometimes it takes feminine, and being level-headed enough to be able to juggle the two to the point to where I'm operating in that safe space.
So keyword level-headed.
Level-headed, level-headed.
Mm-hmm.
Flying off the handle and losing my temper and running from fear, because that's where my temper come from anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with being level-headed. The fear is still there. Okay, this situation scares me and I'm scared of it, but yet using the tools enough to keep it regulated to the point to where I work through it and life works through me, not to me.
So the guy on Friday, he's supposed to call Troy.
Yeah, the guy that was buying my truck, and I don't know what happened. All I know was the truck was sold, and I'm in good shape, and I'm gonna be selling the truck. Now all of a sudden, he's not calling, the phone ain't ringing, and the intensity level in me started rising.
Mm-hmm.
It started about my gut. Next thing, it was at my chest, then it was up closer to my throat, and then it was in my throat, and then it would come out the top of my head. And a day and a half, I lived in some intense, just tensed up.
Mm-hmm. And what were the things that I was saying to you?
We got to go there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to help at that point, and I think it's a valid.
and I
like-
know you were, baby doll. You were showing up, and you was, the sale of the truck is not the maker or breaker of anything. And I get it. I got it.
I was saying, let it go.
Let it go.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, Ram Dog.
It's gonna turn out far greater than you can imagine.
Just be.
Just let it go. We went for a bike ride. We went to the what? We went to the river.
Went paddle boarding, and
Hawks were flying all around,
Yeah.
giving confirmation. Dogs. Oh my God, Gypsy was a nutball. She was like swimming. Now she knows how to swim underwater. She puts her nose underwater because we throw rocks. And I mean, we were out in the river for 3 hours to calm down.
having a wonderful time.
Yeah. And it was still all over you. So then we went for a bike ride and you were still, and I was just like, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. And so the anxiety was building and building and building. And we're just going to hold on to that because we do have some good news.
Mm-hmm.
And we will share that at the end of the podcast, which is coming up shortly. But only a sovereign vessel, an independent life force, can create and expand and move freely. Were you an independent life force last night?
Absolutely not. Not last night.
Mm-hmm.
Now I was not operating in my sovereignty.
You were not walking your own path.
Yeah, I stepped away from it.
Mm-hmm. Because when we allow ourselves to walk on our own path, not as a copy, nor as a rejection of our parents or our ancestors, but as a continuation of the love and the wisdom and the courage and the strength that they carried before us.
Mm-hmm.
A new expression that was meant to come into this world and which needed exactly those lineages and roots we came from. this and the coming weeks may feel quite emotional and also explosive at times. So, what we want to say to you is that whatever arises, whatever feels tight, whatever triggers, take it as an opportunity to feel into the subconscious programming that you may still be running. This is it. If you've been listening to this podcast, this is your chance. Don't turn this off and say that was a great episode. Really take the time to look at your subconscious programming because it's being released. Hallelujah. That's like never happens. So this is the opportune time. And they're just basically saying this moon is like the catalyst for that. It's
Right.
opening it up because you want to find out the parts that belong to you and not from your family. It's time to release inherited limitations and heal the parts within you that are still afraid to choose yourself.
Right. And it's a process. It really is. It takes working at it and looking at it, using the tools to be able to move through it. And there's going to be times you slip up and not do so well. So you just continue to work at it. And one thing you said was the outside circumstances controlling things.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I didn't look at, even whenever it so got over me so fast. It got all over me so fast that I didn't really take the time to look and see that the sale of the truck, that's an outside circumstance. That is not something that operates or that I operate from in my sovereignty for my joy, my peace, my, you know.
No, because if you had just stayed in the paddleboarding, if you had just stayed in the swimming, if you had stayed in the bike ride,
And all that's present moment.
if you had stayed in
Mhm.
the yummy dinner, you wouldn't have had all those feelings come in.
Right.
And that's the lesson.
Yeah.
So then you woke up this morning and what did you do?
Oh, we're gonna go there? I woke up in it. I was still in it.
Uh,
Just golly, you know.
And then what'd you do? You changed scenery.
Yeah.
You went for a walk.
I went for a walk and then I sat down and I did my meditations and I did my affirmations and then my phone rang.
And then the phone rang. I hope you're still listening.
hmm And in the phone call, in other words, the guy that was buying my truck told me that he wanted to buy my truck. So they'll have me a check in a couple of days. Probably
Now-
not today, but
Yeah, you're disappointed because it wasn't the value of the truck, thanks to political circumstances, wars,
yeah, I
gas
mean the
prices,
market just right now it stinks. It's buyer's market. If you got the money, go buy a semi right now. It's time to do it because you can get a semi way cheaper than when I bought one 4 years ago.
Mhm.
And that's part of what bothers me so much is I know what I paid for the truck. I know what the worth of the truck is. I know the truck that I got, and but in today's world, I can't sell it for what it's worth.
Okay. And so how important is that to you?
It don't need to be important.
Right. The important thing is now we fix your truck
And start our journey.
and we start our journey.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
And
And I've
so,
had to look at it. I'm in it.
and so what would you say to people that are confronted with similar situations and similar issues and similar setbacks?
The universe owns it all anyway. And if you're gonna trust in the universe, trust in the universe.
And God and source,
Yeah.
creator.
All of it. Meaning the circumstance. We think that that's what's going to fix everything. The truck going to sell? Okay, the truck sold this morning. Now, with that said, with the truck selling, does that stop any other circumstances in life coming from now on? No. Hard times are coming. We live this life. We've said it before. Hard times are going to be here. And I just got to quit investing in the hardships of life and understand that they're going to be there. The uncertainty of life is there.
It is. And it's actually where the gift lives in the unknown.
Exactly. That is where the gift is.
And that's probably why I was fine with it, because
Yeah, she's sitting there cool as a cucumber. And even that in itself burned me. It burnt me. Boy, it burnt me. Golly. Here you are, cool as a cucumber, enjoying life. Let's go to the river. Let's go swimming. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's have fun. I'm over here biting 10-penny nails in two.
Mhm.
Mattering away, boy.
Mhm.
And that kind of rubs you. It
Yeah.
does.
Until you learn to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're letting it rob your joy.
Robbing my joy.
For what? So it's an old pattern.
Old pattern. Allowing that loop to continue.
Mm-hmm.
I did. But when I finally surrendered, you asked me that yesterday.
Mhm.
What is surrender? She's sitting there. Sometimes I feel like a kindergartner. And she's the teacher. What is surrender? And when you're in it, those ain't the moments you want to hear,
Right?
but I mean, but I love you all the more for it. And thank you for, just trying to move me through. Thank you so much.
I'm just trying to help.
What is surrender? It's just it rhymed off. Just be. Just be.
Yeah, it's letting go.
Letting go.
It's
Let go.
trusting. It's allowing. Look, we look back in our lives and we go, okay, like you're going to look back at this and be like, oh my God, like that was such the perfect time. And oh, look what happened
Yeah.
here. We're going to have so many cool stories after this
Yeah.
that to me, and I've tried to tell you through stories of my own
But
that
until you live,
exactly.
and that's where I'm at. I don't have 20 years of testimony to go off of.
Yes.
I only got 6 months, and I'm building testimony.
Well, and I want to speak to that real quick before we wrap up here. And
Okay, go ahead.
so I taught Troy how to check the energy
Yeah.
with himself, with using his body as a pendulum. And the more that you check the energy, the more that you know you are right. Like, for example, you can check the energy on like, is it in my highest and best interest to go to this coffee shop or to go to this party? And there's a way for you to check the energy and see which one is a yes and which one is a no. And you're only going to get good at it when you check the energy and then you follow through and Like when I was a dating girl, I would like check the energy on dates and my body would be like, no, you are not going on a second date with that person. I'd be like, really? But that person looks so nice. And then sure enough, I'd be like, nope, that's not happening ever again. So I started to get confirmation for myself that my energy
Mhm.
checker was right. And so you check the energy. We both checked the energy. This guy was going to buy the truck.
Yeah.
Everything was going to be fine. It was going to get done by Thursday. And so what's that for you knowing that you were right
Yeah. I mean, it's building that trust in myself.
in yourself?
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, there is no certainty in life, but you can trust yourself, So that's a lesson learned this week.
I mean, it's a powerful time to release all of these limitations, right?
Yep. Yep.
So instead of putting something in the fire tonight, let's do a prayer to thank the people and the circumstances that shaped us to allow us to let go.
Right.
Because the thing is, they say that when we were born, we come here to this school of life. We don't remember anything, but we're all beautiful beings of light. Like we have so much energy in us that we can power Los Angeles. That's how much power you have. You are a full co creator in this existence. And the limitations are the kryptonite that don't allow you to truthfully be as expansive, courageous, and as beautiful as you were designed. So you come in here with these parents, not only like these parents, but your parents' parents and parents. Like you come through that lineage to heal them and to also learn from them because you become the best version of you because of the way that they were. And when you reunite with them in the other side, the other dimension, wherever you end up, heaven or hell or whatever that is, wherever you go, you're equal.
Yep.
They're not better than you. You're not better than them. You're equal. And you guys came to a soul contract to support the higher learnings. So right now it's painful because we're in the body and we're experiencing it real time. We think it's real, but really it's just the guide. It's the marker that's allowing us to, okay, let's go this way. I don't want that. Your emotions are your compass.
Right.
And so your parents and your ancestral healing, we are far greater than they were. We're the next generation. And so let's thank them. Let's take a moment to really honor. And I'm going to say this as I drop it. I will not mention my narcissist mother again because she is a human being having her own human experience. And I may disagree with her and her choices, but she brought me into this world. She's doing the best that she can. And her parents before that, right? What fears actually belong to your parents and your grandparents? And where are you still trying to prove who you are? Who are you still trying to make proud? And who are you afraid of disappointing? Just thank them because they are giving you aspects of yourself that need to be seen, to be released, and to be loved.
Right.
Because who are you without all those things? You're a divine being. You're beautiful being of light. You're here to bring and share love.
Word comes to me as healed.
Healed. And what's the value of healing for you?
The value of it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hang a price tag on it.
How much fuller is your heart right now?
Right. So much fuller.
How much space in your reality do you have compared to 8 months ago?
A lot. A lot. my reality has opened up, which has opened up my perspective, the way I look at things and understand, which brings freedom. That's rich.
Because healing isn't becoming someone new, it's just remembering who you were before you inherited fear,
Hmm.
who told you that you had to become
Right.
or told you what you had to become, the fear.
Yep. What I operated off of. Yeah, that's good stuff.
It is good stuff. Really big
Let's close
pause.
with that prayer. Okay. We come together through this podcast with folks listening, with our spirit guides here, with the divine all around us, the universe, taking a time to recognize the pains and the hurts that we've inherited, the loops that we continue because of what we learned through that. But we also, more important than that, understand that the ones that did teach us those hurts, those pains, those loops, were doing the best they could with what they had too. For a long time, I've held it against them. But as much as I know how and as much as I can now, I want to release that. And I want to come at them with a heart of gratitude for what they could do for me and what they did do for me. Instead of harboring resentment, I want to harbor gratitude and love for what they were to me. That's my prayer.
It's beautiful. We hope that lands with you. And so now the journey begins.
The journey begins. The truck is sold.
The truck is sold. It's almost going to be 4th of July. We will hopefully have another podcast with our guests from where we're staying right now. And then the one after that, we'll be on the road.
On the road. Yep.
Thank you for listening, offering peace and blessings.
Love and light.
And may you find the inner peace within you, however much of the fire you got to walk through to get there. Make
Yep.
known the unknown, put a hand on your heart, and thank yourself for walking this journey with us.